The next game will be a similar opening like the previous game, but things will turn out differently for white this time.
White starts with d4 once again. Black responds with knight to f6, c4, e6, knight f3, and now black plays d5.
This is a different opening. Now we transposed back to a Queen's Gambit declined variation. The previous game, instead of d5, Karpov played b6.
g3.
In this position, white more commonly plays knight c3, playing a regular Queen's Gambit. g3 transposes the so-called Catalan opening.
Black took the pawn on c4.
In this position, black has two choices: to play the closed Catalan with bishop e7 and castling and so on, or to accept the temporary pawn sacrifice by taking it.
Knight b to d2.
That's a rare move. Usually white in this position either hurries up and gives a check, gaining the pawn back, or develops the bishop to g2 and wins the pawn back a few moves later. Knight bd2 is not one of the best or more common moves.
c5.
Black right away counterattacks in the center.
d takes c5.
White took.
Bishop takes c5.
Black takes back.
And now white plays bishop to g2.
It's quite amazing that this natural looking move already causes serious trouble for white. It's important to note that white could not take the pawn right away with the knight, because a very typical combination, an opening trap you should definitely remember, that arises from a variety of different openings on both sides for black or white. That now bishop f2, a typical removing the guard combination, when the king that was protecting the queen has to move and not guard the queen any longer and lose the queen. So white played bishop g2. It was better to give a check and get the pawn back while it's not too late.
Now black did exactly that by playing bishop takes f2 check.
It's quite amazing that at first impression white did not do something that horrible, was kind of developing his pieces, and yet it's being punished severely already. Bishop takes f2.
King takes f2.
King takes f2.
Knight to g4 check.
And knight g4. Now black sacrificed the bishop, but has a decisive attack.
King to e1.
If the king goes to f1, the problem is the fork comes with knight e3. And if the king remains on that diagonal, then the queen comes from the side, giving a check on b6. And the following move, a checkmate, comes on f2. The king went therefore to e1, but this had its own problems.
Knight to e3.
Almost traps the queen.
Queen to a4 check.
It seems that the queen escapes, but not for long.
Bishop to d7.
And after this attack on the queen is lost. The queen is trapped because the only two free squares it can go to, a3 or b4, after either one, black will fork with knight c2 and win the queen. This is one of those examples when one side played the correct, sound game and the other side made the mistakes. Here you could try to learn what black did, because black did all the right things. With white, try to remember not to fall into this trap.